Hey folks, I'm Allison. Welcome to my BookTube channel. You're getting me outside of your regularly scheduled programming because something happened that made me want to film a check-in and update you on my progress having the channel so far. I filmed a video after my first week on YouTube and one after my first month, and I was going to wait until the end of my first year. But recently, a couple of notable developments have arisen, and I wanted to talk through them and hear if anyone has had similar experiences. So the first thing that happened is I had a video hit a relative degree of success, not success on the scale of YouTube, but I have posted now about 20 long form videos, and most of my videos get between 50 and 100 views. And I usually have an impressions click-through rate of between 2 and 3%, and usually about 2.5 to 3 minutes of watch time per video. It varies a little bit, but my videos have been about 10 to 20 minutes long, and I usually get around 1/4 to 1/5 of percentage watch time. And the videos that I've been posting have been pretty standard BookTube fare, so book reviews and TBR videos mostly. But I posted a video essay about 2 months ago, and that video got 7.5 thousand views. It got about 200,000 impressions from YouTube and converted that into about 7.5 thousand views. And that video had a click-through impressions rate, I think it started around 2.8% or even 3%, and then, after it had been pushed to sort of a broad audience, ended up around 2.5%. But it had an average watch time of about 8 minutes on about a 20-minute video. And I was very pleased with that. It was a little bit of an intense experience. I didn't start this YouTube channel thinking that I would have a broad audience on YouTube. I mostly thought my friends would watch my videos and maybe a few other random people on the internet that I would end up chatting to about books. So having a video that lots of people saw and that got comments, some nice, some not so nice, was quite an intense experience. But overall, I was pleased to have a video do well. It feels quite validating to put something out on the internet and have a lot of people watch it, even if many of them disagree with your takes. And then I have also been happy to have my videos after that go back to mostly getting 50 to 100 views, because it's just much more relaxing that way. And my subscribers, I had around 75 subscribers at the beginning before I posted that video, and I ended up with about 300 subscribers, so I got a big jump in my subscriber count. The second thing I wanted to talk about is that I made 2 videos discussing LGBTQ books quite heavily. I made a video that was a TBR for Pride, and I made a review video, a wrap-up review video, in which I extensively discussed Torrey Peters' 2 books, Stag Dance and Detransition Baby, both of which are books that center the trans experience. And both of those videos performed very poorly. The Pride video had statistics that were sort of in line with my typical videos. I think it had a click-through impressions rate of maybe 2.5, 2.6, and then, 25% watch time, 2.5 minutes or 2 minutes, something like that, because that was a very short video. The wrap-up video had a click-through impressions rate of around 2.2%, something a little below average, but the watch time was 7 minutes, so 50% almost of the video. And that is much better than my typical videos, and is almost, those stats are getting quite close to the video that I had that was quite successful. And yet those videos both got, I think, only about 30 views from YouTube's initial push. So many less even than my regular videos. And even more questionable, in my opinion, on both videos, I got a little pop-up from YouTube on my analytics that said, this video is relevant to a smaller audience than usual. That said, your statistics are in line with what's normal. And those are the only two videos I've ever gotten that pop-up on. And so I'm curious whether there's something about the algorithm that is explicitly, officially limiting the scope of those videos to a particular audience. And I don't really know what to make of it. I don't feel like I have enough information to draw a real conclusion from that, but I wanted to sort of put it out there to you all, I suppose. Has anyone had a similar experience with book reviews about LGBTQ or trans books being flagged as, only interesting or only relevant to a smaller audience? Please let me know. Let me know in the comments or send me a message. And then the third update that I wanted to talk about is sort of a neutral update, I would say. And that is that I have been putting out YouTube shorts. And I was putting out, when I first started on YouTube, I put out a couple of shorts that got maybe 200 to 500 views. And then there was a period of time in which basically every short that I put out was getting between 1,000 and 2,000 views. And I was putting out shorts that were quite similar. They were like books standing up that said, the books that I'm reading in July, and then I'd sort of show the covers, one after the other, that kind of thing. And all of a sudden, maybe 2 weeks ago, the most recent two shorts that I've posted have only gotten maybe 100 views. And I know YouTube is constantly rejiggering the algorithm, and, it's not like those videos had particularly amazing stats or anything. They're very in line with the stats from the other shorts that I've posted, but I thought it was sort of an interesting and very, very YouTuber experience to be doing something that is getting a particular reaction from the algorithm, and to continue doing that and all of a sudden to get a very different reaction from the algorithm with no change in the stats from what I can tell from the user side. It's not like people are clicking these, or are staying on these videos, these shorts, any less than they used to be. So clearly something in the algorithm about 2 weeks ago updated the way that it was pushing my shorts. That's all I've got for you now. Those are the 3 major highlights for my first 9 months on YouTube. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to hear more from me, please consider subscribing. And as always, thank you so much for spending some of your one wild and precious life with me watching this video.